Hello, trader. It's another beautiful day to do our top-down analysis. Today is on Sunday, and as usual, you know very well that we do our top-down analysis. Today, for those who are tuning in for the first time, let me take this opportunity to welcome you. As I've said, my name is Anthony, and I always come here on every Sunday and Wednesday to give you the top-down analysis. All right. So, if this is something that you'd like to learn from me, as far as market strategy is concerned, then I kindly urge you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly make sure to uh, turn on to click on the subscription button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified immediately I upload a new video. So without wasting time, let's dive in the market and see what the market has to offer. So first pair that we are going to analyze today is a Euro USD. We're going to start from the daily time frame. So this is what I need you to start practicing once you come to analyze the market, maybe on every weekend as a day trader. So always just clean your chart, at least from the daily time frame, and start to do the analysis new. Okay. So for me, I'm gonna delete whatever I have inside here, and I'm going to start my analysis afresh. So from the daily time frame, what are we seeing? We are seeing the Euro USD gave us this break of structure to the downside. So we have a very valid BOS with a very strong high here because you can see it sweeping this internal liquidity, and also we have an internal liquidity being swept here, meaning this is a very protected high. All right. So once we have this, so what do you do? You know very well. Once the market takes out the external structure, we expect the market to come for a pullback, right? So looking at this, where do you expect the pullback to come to? Assuming this is our swing low, I'll pick my Fibonacci and place from the swing high all the way to the swing low. So once I do that, I need to mark a point of interest that is resting at the premium, because you know very well you want to sell when the price is low, when the price is high, sorry, and you want to buy when the price is low. That is the idea of using this. All right. I can see very clearly within the equilibrium, I can have this very nice order block that is sitting around that area. So that is my point of interest that I can see here from this time frame. All right. So having that in mind, or having drawn that, or having marked that point of interest, or that key level, then now I start looking at the internal structure of this time frame. So if I look at the internal structure, I can see this market is really very bearish. We have this break of structure to the downside. Okay. We also have these BOHs around this area. And internally, this is our last break of structure to the downside. Okay. And also, we can see we have a fractal low, a fractal break of structure here below that low. That is also something to pay attention to. All right. And we know very well that if the market wants to come for a daily swing, we expect the 4-hour swing to shift bullish. All right. Since the daily swing is bearish. So if the daily swing wants to come for a pullback, then I expect to see 4-hour swing turning bullish. So if I go to the 4-hour time frame, what am I seeing from the 4-hour time frame? So that seems to be fractal on the daily. When you go to the 4-hour time frame, becomes a structure, and you can see very clearly that from the 4-hour time frame, we have this break of structure to the downside with a pullback there. I believe this is a valid pullback. It is just a difference with the broker. For this broker didn't give a that candle, but I'm very sure if you go to forex.com, we'll see that we have a third candle here closing above this second body, the closure of the secondary candle to the upside, so giving us a valid pullback, right? But in terms of structure wise, in terms of internal structure, strong internal break was here. This was the last strong internal break of structure. Okay. So since now we can't see liquidity that is resting below this, within this impulsive move to the downside, so there is high chances that the market is going to use this I as liquidity, right? So there is high chance the market is going to use this I as liquidity. And we can also see we have a liquidity above this area, all right, like that. But currently, this is where we are sitting. We have this as our last internal break of structure, right? Uh-huh. Then what does that one see? If you see, look closely, we have this very nice supply zone that is resting around this area. All right. So we know very well if this market wants to come uh around this area, or if the market wants to use this supply zone, then this supply zone should have been strong enough to push this market to give us an internal change of character to the downside. But if we don't have this internal change of character to the downside, it means we're going to trade what we are seeing. And from what I see here, I can see that we have this internal break of structure here to the upside, meaning is that now this is an internal structure that is in control of this market. If I go to the 1 hour time frame, what am I seeing? You can see very clearly that this law is a very protected law. Why is it a protected law? Because you can see we have this wick here sweeping this liquidity first. We have a buy side liquidity being swept before market push down to sweep the sell side liquidity. All right, so we have liquidity being swept around this area. Okay, so we have a sweep of liquidity and then a push to break the structure to the upside. So that now I have this internal structure around this area, which is in control of this market is at this moment. And if you look closely, look comparing this impulse and this pullback, you can see that the sellers are really struggling to push this market to the downside. Ideally, we were expecting to see a rapid movement from this area. Since the market has reacted from an extreme point of interest, we expected to see sellers getting into this market, but we are seeing sellers struggling to push this market to the downside. So it means now this movement that we are seeing here, it was kind of a pullback and then we continue pushing up. Okay, so for what I can see down the market has pushed down and it has swept this liquidity. So we have sweep of this minor inducement, and then we really had a supply zone down here, of which I see the market never tapped to this order block down here. But the most important thing is that the market has swept this liquidity here. And what are we seeing after that sweep of liquidity? We can see we have this one is our last bearish break of structure to the downside, and the market has given us an internal change of character. Okay, so we have an internal change of character around this area. So meaning now the market is respecting this external structure. Okay, so having this in mind, and this is a very strong change of character actually. Why is it a strong change of character? Because I can see that I first of all swept this liquidity, right? We have a sweep of that I before pushing to break this structure to the downside, meaning now if the market pushes up and breaks above this high, we have a very nice change of character. Okay, and we see after that change of character, market try to build the liquidity. We have build up liquidity, all right. And as at now, you can see the Euro USD has tapped to this 1 hour order block around this area. I need us to go to the lower time frame and see whether we can find our order block. If you refine this order block, you're gonna arrive to this supply zone that is resting above below this low. Around this area, we have the last sell candle before the buy movement. And also when you look at the 15 minutes time frame, it's just the same thing. We have the last sell candle before the buy movement becomes your order block. Okay, you can see that the market has already swept all this liquidity. So what are we anticipating? We are anticipating the market to push a little bit down, mitigate this order block, and then we buy from there. So when we buy from there, where do we expect to put our target? We have this very nice high here because that is our swing high. So I'll be looking to buy from this area here or stop loss below there, and then the target will be around this area. So that is my view on the Euro USD. So I need us to go to the DXY and confirm whether whatever we are having here, this analysis that we are having here, it is in line with what is happening on the DXY, because we know very well if the DXY, if the Euro USD is looking bullish, so we are expecting to see the DXY looking bearish. Okay. Now going to the DXY, we're gonna start from the daily time frame. So from the daily time frame, what are we seeing? All right. So from the daily time frame, we can really see that. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So from the daily time frame, we can really see that DXY is very bullish because of this break of structure to the upside. Okay. So we have a very good break of structure to the upside. So I mean, this confirms the break of structure that we are seeing on the Euro USD. Euro USD, we have seen a bearish break of structure. All right. And here we are seeing that break of structure to the upside. Meaning now, if I have to pick my fib, I place from the swing high all the way to the swing low. I can really see that if you mark your point of interest, this is one of the point of interest that you can mark. We have this order block that is resting at the equilibrium, which is also our flip zone. And you can see we have this very nice extreme order block that is sitting at the extreme. So having those 2 points of interest, what do I expect? I'm expecting a pullback to either point of those 2 points of interest. We have this point of interest and we also have this point of interest down here. So since I'm expecting that pullback to the downside, so what do I expect? I'm expecting the lower time frame to be bearish as the market is heading to these areas to mitigate either of this order block, and then we continue pushing up. So what have we said? If the daily swing wants to come for a pullback, then a 4-hour swing has to shift bearish. Since we are bullish on the daily swing, then we are expecting the 4-hour swing to shift bearish. So when I go to the 4-hour, what am I seeing? Unlike Euro USD, DXY has already given us that change of character, which is also a very good change of character actually. We have a break of structure to the upside. Now we have a break of structure to the downside. We have a very valid pullback here. So after this break of structure, what are we seeing? So I had this point of interest here, but the DXY missed this order block, but it did something very interesting because if I look closely, if I pick the Fibonacci, I place from the high all the way to the low, I can see that the market traded to the to the premium, right? We have the market traded to the premium, and most important thing, the market swept this high here as liquidity. So we have a sweep of liquidity and then a reaction to the downside. Now I need us to go to the lower time frame and see whether we got that change of character to the downside. So moving to the 1 hour time frame. So from the 1 hour time frame, you can really see that this market was really very bullish to the upside. So last time that we did analysis on Wednesday, we had this point of interest. I was telling you guys I'm expecting to see DXY reacting from this area, okay, reacting from this order block here to come and at least sweep this inducement before we see any selling opportunity. Okay, for me, I was anticipating this DXY to come to this supply zone, react from this supply zone, and then we push the downside. But the most important thing was the market to sweep this inducement here, and then we continue going down. And that is exactly what the market did. Came, swept this inducement, gave us a break of structure, and now we are seeing a change of character to the downside. Unlike Euro USD, DXY has not yet mitigated this order block. You remember this order block that we have marked from the Euro USD? So this 1 hour order block. So DXY has not yet mitigated this order block. And I can see we have very nice liquidity that is resting above. Here we have relative equal highs. This is one of the key levels that you can find liquidity. All right. So in the lesson of liquidity and inducement that I taught you on this channel, you can find that video on this channel. We talked about liquidity and inducement, and this was part of our liquidity and inducement key levels. We said whenever you have relative equal highs, relative equal lows, that is a very key price level that you can find liquidity, and also always make sure you don't take an entry below these levels or above these levels, because what do you expect? You expect the market to sweep this liquidity first before any reaction. All right. So what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating when the market opens, we're anticipating to see a little push to this area to mitigate that order block, and then we push down to the downside to take this loss. All right. So my anticipation is for this week, anticipating to see dollar being weak or being bearish a little bit to come to these areas. We have this order block from the daily and also this order block from the daily time frame. So those are the levels that I'm expecting to see the DXY coming to. Meaning, if I will be having a weak dollar here or a bearish DXY, so it means we will be having a bullish Euro USD and GBP USD to the upside. All right. So having that in mind, we are done with this analysis on DXY. I don't know what you think about this one. Let me know on the comment section. So I'll go to the next pair that we will analyze today. And then the next pair is going to be BTC. For our friends that like trade BTC like me, let's see what the BTC has to offer. So going to the daily time frame. So I've said if you want to start analyzing a new pair for a new week, always make sure you clean your chart for a week and start a new analysis afresh. So looking at the DXY, BTC, sorry, we can see very clearly that the BTC is very bearish. due that since that this is our last break of structure to the downside, right, from the daily time frame, which happens around this area. All right. And remember, we said if the daily swing wants to come for a pullback, then 4 hour swing has to shift bullish, right? But what are we seeing? The 4 hour swing is still bearish, guys, because we have this one as our last break of structure until we take out this eye here. So 4 hour is still bearish. And I believe I look closely, you can see currently we are inside this daily point of interest. We have this very nice order block here. So as long as the market is trading within this zone, we are still bearish. Yeah? We are still seeing the market really finding it difficult to break this structure here or this eye, because these are very strong order block, which is I'm very sure it is sitting at the premium. If I pick my fib, I place from the high to the low, we can see that this area is sitting at the premium. Okay, so if I go to the 4 hour time frame, if I go to the 4 hour time frame, what do? I can refine this zone to this order block here, right? Or since that order block seems to be mitigated and there is no any fair value gap that was attached there, I can see we have a very tiny inversion fair value gap around that area. And then I can also have this order block here, right? So those 2 points of interest, since they are inside the daily point of interest, makes them to be valid point of interest. All right. So what are we seeing now? We are already market has already closed above this order block here, so I want to close it, right? So we are inside this point of interest here. So what are we seeing now? We need to go to the lower time frame and see what the market is doing. So from the 1 hour time frame, what are we seeing, guys? We can see that this is the last bullish break of structure here from 1 hour. We have an internal break of structure to the upside, which is a very strong one because we see it swept this liquidity. We have a sweep of liquidity here. So meaning these are very strong low, right? So we have this one as a strong low, and then we have a very nice break of structure here to the upside. And what are we seeing? The market came to react from this support zone. All right. So we have this support zone down here. I'm very sure when you go to the lower time frame, you're gonna see a very good order block from this area. So market reacted from that support zone, and currently uh it's buying to the upside. So what are we seeing? So the market currently has failed to break this high. All right. So we are currently reacting from this area, which is turning to be a resistance zone now. Market is finding it difficult to break that high. So when you go to the 15 minutes time frame, since we are doing the top down analysis, so let's go to the 15 minutes and see what the market is doing around this area. So when you go to the 15 minutes time frame, right, I can see that this is the last valid break of structure here from the 15 minutes time frame. We have a break of structure there, which is also a very strong break of structure because you can see it sweeping this liquidity first. We have a sweep of liquidity before this break. And then we are seeing the market coming down to give us a break to the downside, a change of character. So we have an internal change of character. All right, so we have an internal change of character. And after that, we are seeing that the market came to react from this supply zone, right? So after this internal change of character, market came to react from this supply zone. And as at now, I'm seeing an internal change of character again because this is our last break of structure. And then we have a change of character here, right? So you can see we have a change of character around this area. So after that change of character, where do you see the market coming to react from? Let me go to the 1 hour, for instance. So from 1 hour time frame, you can see the market is reacting from this Eden point of interest. This is what I call an Eden point of interest. What do I mean by that? When you have an overlapping wicks like this, it is always an Eden point of interest around that area, because I'm very sure when you go to the lower time frame, you're gonna see an point of interest around that area, maybe a supply zone. All right. So if you go, you can see the lower you go with the time frame, you can see here from the 5 minutes time frame. What are we seeing? We are having a supply zone around that area. So market is reacting from that area. All right. And I'm seeing an M formation inside this zone. You can see we have this fractal break, and then we have a change of character here, and the market is looking to sell to the downside. All right. But it would have been nice if the market could have come to this extreme point of interest around this area. But remember, we trade what we see, not what we think. We react with what the market is doing. All right. So ideally, this was supposed to be your order block from that area. We expected the market to react from that area, but we react with the what market is doing. All right. So you can see the market has given us this internal change of character. So if uh, I can see this very nice order block around this area. The last sell candle that led to that bullish break of structure. At least I could have, if I was to trade this one, I could have anticipating for the BTC at least to come to that area, react from that zone, and then we target at least 1:3. Can put it there or a little bit there, and then you target at least 1:3 risk to reward. Although it seems like the BTC is already gone. All right, BTC is already gone. Even from the 1 hour time frame, even from the 1 hour time frame. So what are we anticipating? Actually, we are anticipating this market since we are reacting from the daily zone. So anticipation is we are expecting this market to push a little bit down, at least to take out this low. So once we take out this low, that will be our strong confirmation. And again, we are seeing that the BTC had swept buy side liquidity, which is another good thing that is adding to our sell opportunity around this area. So what are we seeing? Since we have swept this buy side liquidity, and we know very well, once the market sweeps the buy side liquidity, the next target will always be the sell side liquidity, which is down here. So having that in mind, we are anticipating the BTC to have that deeper pullback to the downside, at least to take out this low. Once we take out this low, then we have a strong change of character. So I'll be coming here on Wednesday, guys, to give you the update. I believe by Wednesday, the BTC would have given us the direction, whether it wants to go up or it wants to come down and take out this low. So until then, guys, let's be patient. But current as at now, I'm seeing the selling opportunity to the downside. Okay. So let's move on to the next pair that we're going to analyze today, which is gold, of course. So what are we seeing on gold? Starting from the daily time frame. So starting from the daily time frame, let me use a different pair or a different broker. So we're gonna use forex.com. Let's do our analysis afresh. We can see this is the last bullish break of structure from gold. All right, so we have that break of structure to the downside. After that, we are seeing gold reacting from this support zone down here. If you go to the weekly time frame, you're gonna see it very well. All right, from the daily time frame, we have this rejection down here. So this is the rejection block, which is your support zone. So we have gold reacting from that area. All right, but we cannot assume since now we are reacting from that area that the gold will it's buying. All right, so we need to see internal structure aligning with that. And first of all, before we go there, we can see that we have a very strong low here which swept liquidity. We have a sweep before the a break, right? So internally, this is the last break of structure to the downside, right? We have this internal BOS to the downside. All right, and this high, it's a very strong high here. All right, why is it a strong high? Because we see it swept this liquidity. We have a fractal sweep of liquidity before a break to the downside. So now meaning this is our protected high. If gold want to go up, if gold want to use this one as our zone to push this market up, then it has to break this high first. Once we break this high, we'll have a change of character. So what we expect? A pullback, and then we continue pushing up to the upside. So once we have that, then it might be a signal or an indication that the gold now it will be coming up, and all this I will become liquidity. All right, all these eyes that it left here will become liquidity, and we might be expecting gold to come and take out this all-time high with time. All right, but since as that now this is what we are trading, or this is what we are seeing, so I'm gonna go to the 4 hour time frame. So once we are in 4 hour time frame, what are we seeing from the 4 hour time frame? All right, so from the 4 hour time frame, I can see very clearly we have this order block around this area where the gold reacted from. Okay, and I can also see we have an extreme order block around this area with a very tiny fair value gap around that area. We have that extreme order block around that area. So since this is where the gold is reacting currently, and what are we seeing? From the 4 hour time frame, we also need to pay attention to the internal structure. Because if I look closely from the internal structure, I have this internal change of character here around this area, or an internal break of structure around that area. All right. If I go to, let me go to 1 hour first of all. You need to see that. Okay, yeah. Even from the 1 hour time frame, even if you don't consider this one, you can see that this is our last break of structure to the downside, right? We have that is our last break of structure to the downside, and then here we have an internal change of character. Okay, we have an internal change of character around that area. So let me change this one to internal change of character. So meaning now from this low, right, from this low up to this high is just one structure. Are you seeing that, guys? From this low all the way to this high is just one swing structure. So now I need to go to the 4 hour. Once I'm in 4 hour time frame, I'm gonna mark my point of interest here. And I will look closely. I have this one as the last sell before the buy candle. That becomes my order block. And I can see very clearly I also have this very nice order block that is sitting here on the extreme. All right. So I have those 2 points of interest of mine. So what am I seeing gold doing? Gold has come to this area here and showing us a buy movement from there. So I need now to go to the 1 hour again. So from 1 hour time frame, I will identify the last strong break of structure to the downside. And I can see that the last BOS, a strong BOS was here. That was my last strong BOS. Why is it a strong one? Because it swept this liquidity first. Okay. We cannot compare this BOS here. All right. We cannot compare this BOS with this one. All right. For this one, swept liquidity. So these are strong internal BOS compared to this one. This one never swept any liquidity within the impulsive move. All right. So what are we seeing? Last week we were expecting gold to come to this area. This movement we were expecting it to tap to this one, but failed to do that. So market left this supply zone around this area. Now we are seeing it from last week. I think on Friday, on Thursday, gold came reacted from there. Tried to sell a little bit from that supply because this is a very good zone actually, and we had liquidity resting below it. All right. But in terms of structure wise, this was the last break of structure to the downside, and then we saw a change of character here. All right. So after that, I think this sell movement reacted, not thinking actually we can see it reacted from this order block here from the 4 hour. You have gold reacting from that 4 hour point of interest, and it's buying to the upside. So what do we need to go? We need to go to the 15 minutes time frame and see what the market did after reacting from this 4 hour supply zone. So what are we seeing? Even from the 15 minutes time frame, I can see we have a change of character already. We have this break to the downside and then a change of character to the upside. So we need to see what the gold will do once it opens. All right. Because as at now, this one becomes my point of interest. We have this flip zone. This is the demand zone that led to this break of structure to the upside, or this change of character here. And this is also a strong change of character since we have a sweep of this internal fractal structures around this area before a break to the downside to mitigate this zone. All right. So meaning this is a very strong change of character. So once the gold opens, once the market opens tonight, midnight, we need to see what the gold will do around this area. But for me, since I don't trade during the Asia session, and I believe this will happen during the Asia session, I'll just wait and see what will happen during the London session when I wake up tomorrow. I'll see what the market will have done around this area. Okay. If the market decide to push a little bit to the upside, I'll still be having the same area, expecting the market to come to this area and we buy. So for me, I will be looking for buying opportunity on gold just by what is happening. Since the market is reacting from this demand zone around this area and showing me some buying momentum to the upside. So for me, I will be looking for that buy opportunity unless the structure will shift. Because for me, I like trading structure. Unless the structure tells us a different story, I'll still be looking for buying opportunity just to take out these eyes and take this market to the upside. Okay. And that is my analysis on gold. I think the next pair we're going to look at is NAS 100. NAS 100 from daily time frame. What do you see? You can see that NAS 100 gave us this internal change of character here. We have a break and a change of character here. After that, market came to this supply zone, and when you go to the 4 hour, after market reacted from this supply zone, we had a 4 hour internal break of structure here to the downside, right? So we had this 4 hour internal break of structure here to the downside. After that, market came up, reacted from this supply, pushed down to give us a break to the downside. All right. So let me just try to delete all this. So last week last Sunday, we had this setup around this area, guys, from the 1 hour time frame. If you are here, we watched our previous video that we did on Sunday. We were looking to sell from this area, and you can see exactly that is what happened. Market came to that supply, reacted from there, and sold off to take out this low. Even if you had targeted 1:3, you can see the market would have hit your TP from that area, assuming now you took an aggressive entry. All right. For those who took an entry with confirmation, I think I explained that setup on Wednesday, what you would have done, with, which confirmation you would have taken. So if you would like to learn, if you would like to know what you have done with this area here, or what confirmation you would have taken here, just find it, look at the video that we uploaded on Wednesday, and you'll see that confirmation from there. So as at now, what are we anticipating on this pair? If I look at the 4 hour time frame, we can see that the market has taken out this low. We have a break of structure to the downside, and then that's a very strong BOS, because you can see sweep of liquidity first before a break to the downside, right? So we know very well, once the market takes out the external structure, the internal structure becomes liquidity. Okay. So now, which liquidity are we able to see? Because if I look closely, the only liquidity that I can see this I, right? I can also see this I as liquidity, and I'm seeing a very nice point of window that is sitting at the extreme. We have this order block that is sitting here, or this supply zone here, with the fair value gap below it, right? But the most important thing, since now we are currently sitting at the premium, all right? We are currently sitting at the premium. So what are we anticipating? If the market uses this one as liquid and decide to fuel down to the downside, okay? So at this point of time, so what do? We will go direct to the 15 minutes time frame. Observe the market from there. I will just ask myself, what is the last structure, which is this one? So if the market decide to use this one as an liquidity and decide to push down, because I can see from 1 hour, okay, let me see, from the 15 minutes time frame, you can see we have a kind of supply zone here. You see that? We have that supply zone that is sitting there. So market can decide to use that supply zone, because we can see very clearly these are very strong high actually. You can see these are very strong high because it swept this liquidity first before pushing down. So market can decide to use this order block around this area. 30 minutes, let's see from the 30. From the 30 it has already been mitigated, but from the 15 we can see that very nice order block here, the last buy before the sell movement, and we are currently sitting inside that supply, right? So if the market decide to use that, then this is your confirmation that you would like to see. That is your last BOS. So we'll be waiting for a market to take out this low for you to make that M formation, right? Which is what? We have an impulse, pullback, a break, then a change of character. So this is an M formation that you like to see. A break to the upside, a change of character to the downside, and that will be your confirmation. If the market decide to use this, then wait for this low to be taken out, join with the pullback, and then we'll be targeting this low to the downside. So if by any means the market does not use that high, low, or that point of interest as our point of interest, we still have this extreme order block that is sitting here from the 4 hour time frame. All right, we'll be waiting to see what the market will do. But the most important thing is for you to wait for a market to do what? To give you a change of character to the downside. If you don't see a change of character, then no sell. All right, because from the daily time frame, we are seeing something here. From the daily time frame, market fails to break this low, and we are seeing a sweep of liquidity, sell side liquidity. Maybe the market might be coming to check out this high and continue going up. Okay, because of this, because you know, once the market takes out the sell side liquidity, the next target of liquidity will always be the buy side liquidity. All right. So from what we are seeing from the daily time frame, market might fail to react from either this point of interest and continue going up. So the most important confirmation that we'd like to see, it's an internal change of character. So once we don't see that, then no entry. All right. So that is it on today's analysis, guys. I don't know what you think about this analysis. Maybe you can tell me on the comment section which pair are you watching and from which time frame, guys. So until next time, it's a bye bye for now. I wish you a fantastic trading week ahead.